Huh? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 1999 movie, The Brave Little Toaster to the Rescue. Now this is actually technically a 97 movie because it was released in the United Kingdom in 1997, but this one in America was released in 99, so for me it's a 99 movie. But it's very weird because they released them out of order because there's a third movie called Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars that came out in America the year before this one, and everything. It's very weird. I don't get why they released them in the order they did and everything, but I don't know. Maybe the Disney executives just weren't thinking when they did it. I don't know, but what their reasoning was. But so this is a direct-to-video sequel that Disney did after they got the rights to the first movie to release it on VHS, and after it was so successful they decided to do 2 sequels, and this one follows the Toaster and his friends from the first movie as they're trying to help save these animals that are in the vet clinic that their owner Rob owns or is running and stuff, and one of his co-workers is planning on shipping these animals and selling them and stuff to pay somebody he owes back. It's indicated that he's like owes some mob people money or something. It doesn't really necessarily say, but he's wanting to sell these animals that are in this vet office, which why he keeps the toaster and the blanket in his vet office, I have no idea. I never understood that even as a kid. But there's also a lot of subplots and stuff going on where they have this computer that has a virus that knows the information about the animals being shipped, and they're trying to figure out how to help this computer get fixed so that it can send the message to their owner and stuff, and it deletes his thesis, so he's about to not be able to graduate. It's very weird. Like, this is just a weird movie, but it's one that I loved as a kid. Just like with the first movie, I watched all 3 of the Brave Little Toaster movies all the time as a kid, and out of the 2 sequels, this is the one I watched the most because I like this one a lot more than I did the third movie, which I'm going to review tomorrow. But this one it's not one that I like as much as an adult. It doesn't hold up like that first one does. It's okay. I can handle watching it every now and then, because like every few years I do a little marathon where I binge watch all 3 of them, because they're not very long anyway. This one is only like an hour and 12 minutes or so, so it goes by pretty fast. And it picks up like 4 years after the first one, when their owner and stuff is getting ready to graduate college, because at the end of the first movie he was just starting college, so or getting ready to go to college and everything, and his relationship with his girlfriend is strained and stuff too. And I don't know if he actually owns a vet clinic, or I think it's supposed to be a vet clinic, but they're trying to find people to adopt these animals and stuff too before he leaves college and stuff too. And like I said, there's this big subplot with that guy wanting to get rid of the animals, and there's also a subplot with computers and stuff. It's just a very, really weird mesh of different ideas going into one movie. And the new characters, some of them, the animals are likable, like Sebastian, the old monkey, he's pretty likable, and the little chihuahua, I cannot remember what his name is, he was kind of likable. But as the cat, Maisie, I think is her name, she has kittens, she's alright. She don't, I never really cared too much for her. She doesn't really bother me though. But one of the most annoying characters in the sequels is a little rat named Ratso. He just gets on my nerves very badly, and especially in this movie, I really don't like him. And And even though this movie is more aimed at younger kids, even more than the first one was, it still has some pretty dark stuff too. Like there's a scene at the towards the end of the second act where the radio and Ratso go get this tube for this computer that it's like a special one-timey computer that never really made it big or anything, one of the oldest models or whatever, and they go get this tube for it, and when they get back and stuff, they're fighting over who gets the credit for finding the tube, and they break it and stuff, and all of the characters guilt the radio into killing himself. He pretty much kills himself to he takes his tube out to transfer it to the radio and everything. He just takes it, he walks into the corner and takes it out and rolls it onto the floor to the other characters, and they all act like they're all sad and like they cared about him and stuff, like they weren't just treating him like crap and pulling a guilt trip on him the minute before and stuff. It's very weird. Like the way it's written is like really dark for a kid's movie. Even as a kid, I always thought that was like just really kind of dark and everything, when it was more the rat's fault than it was the radio, but the radio was the one that got all the blame for it, which also kind of seemed out of character for the characters that are friends with the radio. Like why would they blame him when the rat's the one that started the whole fight anyway? And I never understood that. That's one of the reasons I never really liked Ratso and everything. He was always an annoying character to me, and I really didn't like him. He didn't do anything to redeem himself either, really. And throughout the whole movie, he's telling them how bad, or how much the master doesn't really care about him and all that, trying to make everybody think that nobody cares about him and all that. And they keep saying he cares about all of us, even you. And you know how the movie's going to end with his character arc and stuff. It's kind of annoying. Plus, seeing that the third movie came out first, I saw the third one first because I thought that the third one was the second one, because like I said, they didn't know what they were doing when they were releasing these movies. I don't know why they released the third one first, but yeah, and there's some moments in here, like they have some songs and stuff in here, just like with the first one. A lot of the songs just are kind of there to fill in the movie and don't add anything to it. They're not very likable. The only one that I really kind of liked was the Remember That Day song that all of the characters sing when they're singing about, like the animals are singing about when the guy first finds them and takes them in and stuff to help them get healed up and stuff so they could be adopted. It's probably the only really good song in the movie, but none of the songs are really that catchy or memorable or anything. But I will say the animation is still pretty good though. Since it's a direct-to-video movie, it is low budget and stuff, but it's about on par with the original movie. Like the original wasn't like a big budgeted animated movie, so it kind of still has that feel and stuff. It does look a little bit cheaper, and it's more lightened and stuff than the first one. While it still has a lot of dark things happening in the movie, it's not as dark as that one is, if that makes sense, like the lighting and stuff in it. But this one's just, like I said, it could be better, could be worse. There are way worse direct-to-video Disney sequels out there, but this one just doesn't really have a good reason to exist, at least with the third movie, which is actually my least favorite out of these three. The third one did at least have a decent reason to exist, because the book that the Brave Little Toaster is based on did have a sequel, and the third movie is based on that book. And that might be why they released the movie first. I don't know. Like I said, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me why they did that in the order they did. But the voice cast in here are all, once again, really good. They got most of the original voice actors back. John Lovitz is, out of the main characters, is the only, and the kid who did the voice of Blanky are the only two that didn't come back, and I'm guessing it's because the kid that voiced Blanky in the first one was just too old to voice him, and everything. He's replaced by Eric Lloyd from the Santa Claus, which he does a good job. He don't really sound that much different from the original, so it doesn't really bother me. And same with Radio. Like, whoever did the voice of Radio in this sounded like a lot like John Lovitz, so they did a good job with that and everything. But you could tell this didn't have the same people behind it, like the people that worked at Pixar and helped create Tiny Toons and Animaniacs. That they had worked on the first one. In this one, they weren't involved in it, and you can tell, and I think that's part of why the writing is so weird in this. And also, there's this very, very weird part in the movie towards the end of it where the computer is transferring the guy's thesis, and this computer just starts getting all excited, and it sounds like he's like, whoa, this is making me feel so good. Something is happening inside of me and I can't keep it to myself anymore. And then the papers just explode out of the printer. Stuff is like, did we just witness a computer having an orgasm? Because that's exactly what it seemed like the writers were trying to go for. Like, they put a big innuendo in that movie. And every time I watch it, it's like, why, dude, we need to see a computer have an orgasm in a movie that's aimed at little kids. I never really understood why, as a kid, every time I watched this movie with my uncle and stuff, he always like died laughing in that scene. And watching it now, I completely get it as like, yeah, that's like one of the worst innuendos they've put in a kids movie. And now every time I see a computer printing paper and stuff, I think of that scene and it's like, what? But yeah, this is a okay movie. Like I said, it's not as good as the original, but I do still have some nostalgia for it, and that's part of the reason why I watch it still. It's kind of because of the comfort and the nostalgia from watching it all the time as a kid. But it's just not one of my favorites anymore, and it definitely isn't near as good as that original movie, which I never thought it was, even as a kid. I felt like both of the sequels were step downs from that first one, but this one is still okay. So I'd say I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's watchable and everything, but it's not one that I rewatch every time I watch the first one. Like I said, I do a marathon every few years, but I don't watch 2 and 3 near as much as I do the first one. There's a lot of times where I just watch the first one and don't watch this or the third movie. So, but anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of the Brave Little Toaster to the Rescue if you've seen it. I know a lot of people probably haven't seen it. I know there's a lot that didn't even know that the 2 sequels existed to the Brave Little Toaster. So I'm curious if you have seen it, what did you think of it and everything? And have y'all caught that scene with the computer? I'm just curious if y'all ever caught it and stuff, like if you were old enough to catch it if you saw it as a kid, because I didn't catch it until just a few years ago and stuff. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, so anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of this movie, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.